is going on, you guys? My name is Sub-Zero Exabyte and I am coming at you today with a very special video. Now before we start anything, I want to warn you to please not try anything that you will be seeing at home. Everything that I am about to do is a result from me being a total dumb butt about everything that is going on, because I am wondering what it would be like if I were to be edible. So if you do not want to end up like me in this video, then please do not try this at home. Now we shall move on to what is actually happening in today's video. Well, as you may remember, we had some encounters with spinners throughout the past couple of weeks and I was testing and fooling around with some ways to make all of that stop. Now I came across one of the best things ever, which is called food, and I wonder if I could be a good food. Now I just want you to know that I do not mind people being hypocrites, but when they come to me and come to my house and start fooling around, well, that is the moment where I will start to fire back. Literally this time with all sorts of these things. Now I also found a factory here that actually makes these things and I am in love. This might become a little annoying though, because it will be taking a lot of work to get finished. I mean, we need to make all of these cakes that taste like me, I guess. Now of course we all know that sometimes we get annoyed in this game, right? I mean, we all have our differences and usually they are only short lasting and they never really get that much out of hand, right? Well, today is the day that I snapped. I am just done with it right now. Again and again I keep having these people finding out where I live and it is just driving me nuts. Now I have already tried training them in order to make them respect me and know a thing or two about the game. Now that did not work at all, because that literally just blew up in my face. But with these cakes I would not mind that. Then I have gone the complete other way around and I just started planting traps everywhere, which again just ended up blowing up in my face, taking my house with them. Then I give the training another shot, which did not work at all. And then after that everything got pretty calm again. But then people started stealing out of my chest and that is when I went into full defense mode again and I started hiding the food that I own just so that people cannot get to them. But if I become my own source of food, that would be great. All of my troubles would end right there. I mean, a lot of stupid stuff has happened throughout the last couple of weeks, but you know, I guess that this is just my life right now. Even though I must confess that the things that we have been doing the last week are pretty okay. I mean, there were no sightings of random people who tried to mess with me or anything like that, so that is something that I really do appreciate right now. Now that does not mean that everything is over and said and done and all of that, because it is not. I can feel that a war is coming. I am just not sure about the timing of said war. It might be coming soon, but it might not. Right now I cannot give a clear answer on that. But what is necessary for me and my morale right now is that we get this house done. I mean, just look at how good we are doing with this house right now. So just take a look. And by the way, I hope that you are paying close attention, because I am not going to show you this again. But once we are done with this house, I will have a new and cool little house for myself to live in. And of course you guys too. And you get something to eat. This is going to be hard, but it is just something that I will have to cope with until everything right here has all been sorted out. And I can tell you that when the day comes, I am going to be celebrating so hard that it actually is pretty insane to myself. I mean, I am going to be excited like crazy once I am all done with this thing, because I just think that after all this time that I just deserve a little break from everything right now. I mean, we have been through a lot the last couple of months. As you may remember, the fact that Easter ended was just a really big setback for me, because I just love working under the spell of cakes and underneath the spell of the sugary sweets that you get to eat. So to not have had that anymore is just a big blow for me personally. But I had to get through that. And I did get through that quite successfully. But that was the point where all of the noobs came tagging along and starting invading all of my personal space. And I know that all of this sounds really familiar and stuff. And to be honest, the last couple of months I have just been a broken record running over and over and over again. Like always, I am just thinking out loud right now, so just bear with me so that we can actually get done with some stuff right here. Because otherwise we are still going to be building on this thing for the better part of a year or something like that. But to be honest, that is just an educated guess on my end of the spectrum. But let's continue with what I was saying a minute ago. And I was talking about building a modern cool house, because this is something that I think is really awesome, because the cake tree house is by far my favorite one out of all of the foods that you have got around here today. Which is not that good now that I start thinking about it. It is actually smart that I think about this kind of stuff right now before I start doing them in the first place. But still, that would be pretty cool. At least that is what I think. I mean, no one is going to expect a thing right now. And that is exactly what I want with this right here. So no one will ever be able to go and start stealing some of my ideas again, which is good, so that I do not have go out and make more stuff over and over again, because I usually get intimidated pretty quick and I am like a turtle. I will need a shell so that I can hide in there, and right now I do not have a shell, so this is basically my shell right now. I will have to make sure that I can get through this, otherwise I will not have my shell for whenever more people show up, and then well, that means that it is time to panic for me. It was like when you make a move in chess and just as you take your finger off the piece, you see the mistake you've made, and there's this panic because you don't know yet the scale of disaster you've left yourself open to. This literally describes what I am doing right now. That was a quote, by the way, from an author called Kazuo Ishiguro. I probably butchered the pronunciation on that name, but that does not matter right now. What matters is that this is a chess game and I am running out of plays to make. But I will not let this end in a stalemate. No, I will be battling this noob until the end of time. Or at least battling him by building better stuff. Like this cool shower thing here. This is pretty fly if you ask me. So I am definitely going to win this, of course. I mean, look at this right here. This is just art. All of these things right here, well, this is all just pure art right now. So I am pretty sure that I have already won this right now. But let's just continue before he finishes his little thing before I finish mine, and we cannot have that. I have decided to go out and make my farm the same way. I am just going to be building a thing that is not like any other thing, but it will be better than his. I mean, look at what he has, man. That is not good at all. I am easily going to be winning, just so that I can make sure that I do not end up getting my butt kicked by this little robot right here. I really have got no clue about who he is, but I mean, if he challenges me to a build off, then well, I am not going to be declining that. I am pretty sure that I can kick this guy his butt, no questions asked at all. Now I really like this build off challenges. Actually, this is like the best idea that I have ever come up with right now. But this farm is nice and all, and I want to make sure that I can farm all the wheat and sugar cane around here, and it will hopefully fuel the tree so it can grow big and strong, just like you can. But we have to move on and make sure that we can build the second stage, which as you can see is the house build, and I am really excited for this one because I am one of the best builders in town. But first things first, I am already proud of the fact that I was able to get the idea from myself, which I had applied to basically everything right now. So that was a pretty awesome thing, to be honest. So I basically came up with this whole challenge thing after this robot was trying to be better than me in some stuff. So I decided to make this little treehouse style stuff and make sure that I can show him once and for all that I am a winner and not a loser. But something is telling me that this will not work out the way that I wanted it to. It is just something that I feel coming up. I mean, that does not mean that this is a bad thing. I mean, I would rather have things go wrong while I am in the beginning stages of building this, because otherwise I would have to start all over again when I am almost done, because that would be a bummer. Now I will start building and stop the talking like I always have to do. So alright, if I may say so myself, I think that the tree of cakes, aka the cake tree, is coming along pretty nicely. Of course, we are just setting up the walls and stuff right now, but like Donald Trump says, there is nothing better than a wall. Okay, he did not really say that, but just let me have a moment here, okay? But yeah, even though we are still building the walls so that everything is sturdy in here, it is actually looking pretty nice. But alright, also decoration is low-key, just high-key right now, so get going on that as well. Just light this bad boy up with like vines and all that kind of stuff. Just whatever you think will fit into this thing, because ultimately it will become your house and maybe one day even your home. And you know how I feel about building a home rather than a house, because a house is just that, a house. It is 4 walls and a roof. But a home is so much more than that. I mean, it still is 4 walls and a roof, but right now it also is filled with love, like a real home should be filled with, in my opinion, of course. Now onto the cake part though, and that kind of gives a perspective to things. Sometimes knowing all is not the best thing for a human, especially when you do not know how to process some things that are like really big and revealing. It is something that makes you think, does it not? But well, we are not here to think now, are we? We are here because we want to see things getting mod right now. And you know you are not wrong for coming here for just that, because that is basically the only reason why I am here. But then again, you can guess that we are also just here to fool around and not talk about serious topics for a while. So please excuse me if I go too far on some subject, but sometimes it is rather hard for me not to talk about things that I know a lot about. So like I said, please just excuse me for that. I am looking for something that will take out the spinner without dealing too much damage to my wallet, but this did not even do any damage to my credit card. Now that is really good because I am cheap, so I will just have to keep testing and see whatever I can come up with to make something like this. So this new little tree house is about done right now. Now just the finishing touches, or the cherry on top of the cake, and we are basically done with that thing. So now that we have a little house, or I must say, a little hidden house, I can just pretty much put whatever I want down there, and no one will find out about any of the stuff that I put down there until someone comes along again to blow up my house, and then they will pretty much just find me right there, and at that moment I am probably going to be sad again for another week. But that is just how this goes, I guess. At least with everything that is happening right now, I am able to keep it kind of new and fun, I guess. I mean, it is not that I like the fact that people come in and come find my new house again, but with everything that has been happening lately, and by that I mean all of the hordes of noobs and all those types of things, well, at least my life is getting more and more interesting by the day. So that is a good thing, I guess. At least it is better than sitting around all day with nothing to do but listen to Deja Nintendo, which is an album by Brand New. And if you have no idea who Brand New are, well, then I would recommend you to go ahead and listen to the album Deja Nintendo, and you will definitely fall in love with it. It is a promise. But if you do not fall in love with it, then in that case, no backseas. But that might speak for itself, I guess. Now this hidden treehouse thing is almost done for right now. I mean, it is being built like a freaking bunker or something like that. We might even be able to use this as some kind of doomsday shelter or something like that. I mean, I have seen those shows on the Discovery Channel, or was it Nat Geographic? I cannot remember. At least there was a show where they had a lot of people who build these types of basement in their house, or somewhere out in the woods, and I do that in a tree, and they would be going to use those bunkers or basements whenever the so-called doomsday would come. Well, I guess that they have all been bamboozled because the day of doom has not come yet. But then again, I bet that everyone is thinking that those guys are crazy. But once the doomsday actually comes along, then they will have the last laugh about it. Now of course it would not be that much of a bad idea to be building a freaking doomsday shelter in a tree, because those things usually are hidden somewhere way down in the ground, which is like a place where no one will ever find them, which is mad decent to me. I mean, come on, that would like be the best thing ever for someone in my position. But I mean, the doomsday shelter would be a good idea, because when something happens I would be okay down there. I mean, when the doomsday would come, and we would all be dead except for them, aka the people who actually took the time to build a doomsday shelter like that. Well, at that moment we would not even be able to have the last laugh, because we are not able to laugh about things when we are dead. I mean, it sounds pretty sad, right? But it is the harsh truth. But then again, right now I am just going to use these hiding places for my new chests, and not for some kind of doomsday preparation techniques or something like that. So that is pretty alright, I guess. At least we have some time to think about everything that might be going to happen or something. I mean, if I could make food out of me, then I could definitely survive everything that has something to do with surviving, because I would be my own food supply. To be honest, building this cake dream right now also makes me feel at home for some reason, which is good. I mean, there is nothing as American as apple pie, and that is kind of a cake, I guess. And because I always used to make these things a couple of years back when I was just playing on my own instead of with you guys, but you know, that might actually just be me rambling, to be honest. Who knows actually? I just know that it feels good to be making this thing right now. But of course I am going to keep feeling this feeling of being home and this feeling of nostalgia. So I thought that today I am going to be pursuing that feeling of nostalgia. And I mean, I really love the feeling of nostalgia just because it makes me feel at home, and it gives me a little throwback to my childhood and stuff. So I am just going to go ahead and do whatever it takes to get that nostalgic feeling back into my veins. And that is really something that I long for right now. Even though all of this has nothing to do with the tree totem tutorial, I just feel like sometimes it is just good to talk about things like this, because you could just build this house right here, and it would not feel like home. That would be a bad thing. Now you might be thinking, well, Sub-Zero Exabyte, why do you want to play with candy, or in this case the other foods and stuff to go ahead and feel nostalgic again. Well, that is actually a pretty long story, but to make it a little short for you guys, I just wanted to make something really cool for you guys, as in a video, and I just wanted this video to kind of hit home, so that you can watch this and it will make you appreciate your childhood and all of that, or just your youth in general, to be honest. And then I was thinking about the things that made me enjoy and love my childhood, and that was mostly just playing around in the summer,